Hello, Santa Clarita. I hope everybody's fantastic. Finally, we have arrived. We have over 500 active residential units on the market for sale in all of the Santa Clarita Valley cities. And you would think there would have been some kind of a massive celebration. But again, it really isn't changing much, even though we haven't seen these numbers for better than 2 years. Active residential units for sale is going to mean what is currently on the market as being offered for sale. It's going to include single-family residences, condominiums, and townhomes, all total in all of the Santa Clarita Valley cities. Castaic, Canyon Country, Newhall, Saugus, Stevenson, Rancho Valencia, and of course Acton, Agua Dulce. They are still part of Santa Clarita Valley, but not included in these particular numbers today. You can see everything at www.santaclaritaopenhouses.com. What I did yesterday is I started another video series on the 101 buyer, somebody that's brand new into the buying process, talking about the first three tenets of buying residential real estate, which is probably the most important preparatory steps that a real estate buyer can take. So I did organize those. I have them in a single video on my YouTube channel, and please check that out. I think it's going to be incredibly beneficial because I approach it with my knowledge as if I was a first-time buyer, putting into it the things that I find that my buyers find themselves becoming more susceptible to with regard to people out there that are trying to take advantage of people that might not have the ability to protect themselves, or at least the knowledge to know they're about to be taken. And usually in that process, especially in the real estate world, it's a little too late to fix it after, well, after something closes, it becomes really complicated. So I put that into that particular video. The other thing that you're going to see coming up this next month, so as we're in August, there's going to be big changes within real estate. Real estate contracts are going to affect sellers out there in a way where it's, in the past, it was pretty much established that the real estate seller had an option to pay their agent whatever they could negotiate. Usually, it was also offered that they were going to pay another agent to represent a buyer. So it was going to be included. Now that other part, the part where a and pay the buyer's agent, is excluded. There is not that offering within public view. That is going to be handled between the agents and the seller. If a buyer's agent brings a qualified buyer to a residence that's listed, a property that's listed with seller and the seller's agent, that agent's then going to pick up the phone and make a phone call and say, listen, my client would like to buy your seller's house, or at least view it. Is your seller offering a buyer's commission and their buyer's agent's commission? And at that point, they'll talk about it and they'll work it out and figure something out. If in fact it's even possible for that buyer to purchase that house, if the seller doesn't pay for that part of the commission process, you would say, why doesn't the buyer pay? Well, that's definitely where the world is. That's what's going to happen in August. If a seller doesn't want to pay, now it's going to be crystal clear. They don't have to. And there doesn't have to be an offering of a commission to a buyer's agent. Therefore, if the buyer wants to use an agent to purchase the residence, then it's going to be up to them to negotiate that commission with the agent that they're going to select. When you're going to now be paying for a particular service, although before, even though it was part of your cost as a buyer, you were hiring the agent to represent you. Now the world of value is going to come into play a lot more. It's not going to be common practice for the agent representing the seller to now be representing the buyer. While that really wasn't a big part of the market anyway, that's something known as dual agency. And if you've ever purchased a house in Southern California with regard to dual agency, there is a big disclosure that has a lot of civil codes on it explaining the entire process of dual agency. And breaking it down, basically, it's when you as a real estate buyer go to the same agent that the real estate seller is using and purchase that same residence. And that's the agent that you're going to select. Instead of having your own agent on your own side, you hire the seller's agent to represent you. And at that time, there was, again, that fee for you as a buyer wasn't part of it then. Now it will be as we come up here and get through August. Now we're at the 9th, we're at Friday. We'll be back over the weekend. This 505 active units on the market for sale. It's not going to change anything currently. The big change that's on the horizon for Santa Clarita real estate would be a lowering of interest rates into the low 5s or high 4s. If that happens, you're going to see this market kick off in a couple of ways. I believe that could be an opening for a lot more listings coming onto the market. But stand by. I don't believe a lot more listings is going to be enough at that time to satisfy the high buyer drive that will come into play if in fact the Fed does lower rates coming up here this month or September of 2024. I'm Connor McIver, Connor with Honor. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow on the next one. Over and out.